It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi there, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
Kathryn, I've got great news for you.
You do?
We have a very, very special guest on this episode.
Who is that?
You.
I assume that's where you were going. I mean,
Yeah.
Who else in this room would be special?
Good point. Good point. No, it's been a while. I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Delighted.
happy to be back. Yeah.
What happened?
So much. I mean, I think that's what we're going to talk about.
Why did you leave me? And maybe I don't want to know.
I didn't leave you. I'm here.
Yeah, let's hit the plugs. Of course, we want you to most especially subscribe to YouTube. Now that we're over 700 subscribers,
So exciting.
we still have a long way to go to get to 1,000.
Yep.
But my friend Jeff Detro, Hall of Fame radio DJ, was here and he said, 1,000 by Christmas, Frank, 1,000 by Christmas. That's not even right.
I don't even know
do
what that
his.
means. Yeah.
He thinks that we can set a goal of 1,000 YouTube subscribers before Christmas.
I mean, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. So if you can help us get to that. Now I realize you're watching it or listening to it online. You've probably already subscribed. So that means we need help sharing it and getting
Telling
the
your
people.
friends.
Yeah, getting the people who are not logged in to YouTube and are watching to go ahead and log in and
Subscribe and smash that button.
for notifications.
Absolutely.
You can listen on any of the audio podcast apps like our friend Bean does, or I do occasionally when I'm in the car, just to make sure it still sounds okay.
That's good.
Yeah, we're on all the things, Apple, Google, Audible, Spotify, pick a
Everything,
thing.
yeah.
And our merch store is lovingly curated at frankandfriendshow.com/store. And obviously the towel folding fairy has been here yet again. Or the
very
towel
nice.
elf. I don't know, which sounds better, a towel elf or a towel?
Well, you know why I like it folded like this?
Frog.
The towel elf is really good because this looks like it could say Frady.
Oh, it could. And we can pretend that it does. That's fantastic. Avi McCullough, she did this to me on the show, live on the show, and it didn't occur to me until I watched the episode. She says, oh, and you can notice, and she's peeling it back, that the color goes all the way through. It's not just printed on the top of the...
Oh, that's nice.
It goes all the way down to the bottom, and it's very high quality, and and then I remembered, after I'm watching the show, that her previous career was selling stuff on TV.
Right.
She worked at Jewelry Television,
Right.
and of course we mentioned Shop NBC, where she's talking about these
Her
huge
watches.
exoskeleton men's watches and she had to set up another Facebook account just for her Shop NBC persona. And I occasionally clicked over there to tag her in a thing or whatever.
Sure.
And just to see the comments from the creepy watch fans.
You know,
It was like, I couldn't take it.
it's not a bad idea to have like your professional life a little separated. So, people don't show up at your office and,
Would that happen to you, Kathryn?
I mean, it's happened to me so many times in the course of my life that at least if I had $1 for every time it happened, I'd have at least 10.
Well, I'm aware. So yeah, you're in a situation where, now actually this is great because you're in charge of 2 opera companies, and you also have been freelancing, in South Carolina and in Florida and all these places. So over the course of the past few months, there's at least 4 different opera companies.
That's right.
So you could tell the story, and we'll never know which one it is.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So someone shows up to yell at you.
Someone, an older man who was angry.
It wasn't
at
me. I'm older man. I sometimes get angry, but it wasn't me.
Who was quite displeased with me, showed up at the office to tell me that they were going to send me a mean email, but chose not to. Instead, they came to my office to tell me that they were going to send something mean because they were still angry.
Okay, this is so weird on so many levels because you're, like I just mentioned, the weirdos posting on Facebook, often anonymously, or the comment section is always the worst of the worst. Of people who, I got an anonymous comment about the old Titanic video saying, it's inappropriate to laugh during this video. I'm like, what?
Why is it inappropriate?
Because I don't know. Because the Titanic is a shrine to the dead. This is a copycat museum in Pigeon Forge. I'm not at the actual Titanic.
Right, laughing. Yeah.
They have stuffed bears that they sell that say with a captain's hat.
Right.
They have it's a tourist trap. You're allowed to laugh. But they didn't use their real name or anything like that. They were just being critical. And that's what I'm accustomed to, when I had a blog all my life, I've gotten accustomed to rude, insensitive. but anonymous comments.
Yeah.
Especially when I first started on Scholars Bowl, man, I had people posting about just the meanest things.
Really, ripping you apart, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are people like that?
Do they think they're helping? I don't know. But here's the situation where you avoid any kind of direct interaction. It's not, even if it's you avoid an email with someone, the name of the person, or you certainly would avoid face-to-face contact. So a guy shows up and says, "I wrote you a strongly worded letter, and I want you to know that I'm mad at you." That's that takes a little bit of spine, a little bit of nerve to do that.
I don't think that this person was prepared, though, then to have a conversation with me, which is like, if you're going to show up and say some things to me, then be prepared.
That's super weird to write an angry email, not send it, hop in the car and drive over to the opera place. That's weird.
It's weird, right? Yeah. Well, it's not the first time. I mean, angry men show up at my work for years. I mean, off and on,
Why?
for one reason or another.
Come on, you're exaggerating.
I'm really not.
You said 10 times, so people...
At least 10, yeah.
All right, well,
maybe,
the arts...
Maybe fewer, maybe that's an exaggeration.
People are passionate about the arts.
Well, sometimes it's not people who are in the arts, but people who just, were upset with me.
Oh.
Personally, yeah. It's always good,
Well, I guess what I'm thinking is, in radio is as far on the scale of arts, it's technically still on there.
Yeah.
We always used to say that it's the next to last rung of the show business ladder, one above Circus Roustabout. But,
sure.
but you're still on the rung, and no offense to Circus Roustabouts, because probably we should reorder that. They probably have surpassed radio now. But people would show up at the radio station and be mean or be angry about something because they take it passionately if you change the format of their favorite station, or you say something on the air that irritates them, or
you run out of programs.
That's what it. Okay.
How dare you? How dare you run out of programs?
Yeah, Kathryn. That's terrible. So what happened? The guy shows up. And then you calm him down, or? No,
they changed the subject rapidly. Like, they didn't really want to have a conversation. They just wanted to tell me
that they were mad at you.
That they were mad, and then they changed the conversation.
Wouldn't tell you what was in the email.
No. Started talking about like the rest of their day and what they were going to be doing, and asking me if I needed help with things. And I'm like, no, I really don't. But like, let's go back to this point that you made, that you're like really upset. And he was like, well, I didn't send it. I'm like,
you may as well have.
Right.
At this point. When you decide not to send an angry email,
that's when it should be done.
Which is almost always the right choice. Not sending the angry email is almost always the right choice. Even if you're still mad, you can reread the email the next day.
Yeah.
Think about it and maybe rephrase it. But not sending it is a smart move. Getting in your car and driving over to tell the person that you wrote them an angry email doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. But, good times. I mean, this person, fortunately to me, is not a scary person.
Yeah.
Like, I've had much more intense situations that were scary. So,
Sure. Well, so you've been, we mentioned there's been 4 different opera events, at least, that I can think of.
Yeah.
You went to Florida. We talked about that because you came back from Florida.
And did the Copper Queen.
Which was wonderful. We talked about that a bit, did we?
I think so, yeah.
Well, it was a marvelous show, and if you can still watch the online version of it at Marble City Opera, you should. What did Alan Sherrod, the reviewer, say?
Operatic gold.
Which is pretty good. It's
pretty great.
Better than silver, better than bronze. So that's fantastic.
Or better than copper.
Yes, and I feel like I've already made that joke, so therefore we must have already talked about it.
Are you having deja vu?
I'm having question view. Did we... I have to look up in the notes to see, because I've had this parade of guest hosts.
I know.
And so I want to get back to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. But you, Copper Queen in Knoxville, and then it was like, and out the door you went.
Out the door. I went to Baton Rouge.
For your new real job.
Yeah.
Your day job.
That's right.
Your actual salary job.
My salaried position. Thank you.
I know the feeling of not having one, but being so busy, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, can you make a donation to this? Can you spend time doing this?" I'm like,
I literally don't make any money, but thank you.
I'm in the gig economy. How can I volunteer for anything anymore?
Yeah, well, actually, I jumped right into the production of Tales of Hoffman.
Which was in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, the Red Stick. And so that was a lot of fun. I knew a lot of the people in the cast already, a lot of the singers I'd worked with before.
Opera's a smaller community, right?
It is,
It's inbred, like radio, maybe?
Absolutely, yeah. Totally, totally inbred. But it was a lot of fun.
I don't mean that literally. You know what I mean?
I know.
Everybody works with everybody who worked with somebody.
Yeah, there's always a connection.
Right.
And that's fun for people like us who like to connect.
Exactly. At any radio station, you can find somebody else in the building who worked with somebody that you knew, but you didn't realize it until you start talking.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And the conductor, who I have worked with a lot from New Orleans Opera, Robert Lyle, came to the production and is very supportive.
Good.
So it was a lot of fun.
So New Orleans has its own opera,
yes.
and so does Baton Rouge.
That's right. We're the capital city's opera company.
Because my friend Bean is moving to New Orleans, and I've been there a few times for morning show DJ conventions. I'll have to tell you the story one time of going out drinking with Billy Bush. I don't know if I'm ready for it right now, but it's a good story.
Okay.
Because he was a radio DJ before he was on TV.
Okay.
And it was a DJ convention.
Nice.
But I've never taken my wife to New Orleans. I've only gone in August for this morning show DJ convention.
Okay.
Which is how I know Jeff Detro.
Right.
He was the big star at these conventions. And Jerry wants to go to New Orleans and see some of the fancy food, and we want to. When Bean lived there before, every time Bean lived there before, we never connected because he would go on vacation at the same time that Jerry was on vacation from school.
Okay, I see.
So it never worked out. So this year we're going to make a concerted effort to line those up.
And hopefully you can come while I'm also in Baton Rouge, because it's just an hour away.
Yeah, I think we have to drive through Baton Rouge to get to New Orleans.
We have to stop by first.
That's what it looks like on that. Yeah.
Right.
So we'll try to coordinate all of those things.
Yeah.
So Tales of Hoffman, Baton Rouge went fine.
Yeah, it went really well. I mean, it was the opening night was a crazy day. I had an interview that morning at like 8:30 in the morning.
TV?
On television,
Good thing you've got experience.
I know, yeah. I was like, I've been in town for a week and a half, and I'm about to be on television. I don't even think I'd been there a week and a half.
The new general director.
There five days. Get on television. I'm like, yes.
That's a good get for them to get the new general director of Opéra Louisiane.
Yeah, it was on. Yeah, it was good.
Is that the name of an iced tea, Louisiane?
I have no idea.
I think it is.
Okay.
Maybe
we'll have to look that up.
All right, I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Okay. So opening night, 8:30 a.m., interview on television, live. And then I met James, who had come with me to help me move, and dropped off a car where he was dropping up, where we were picking up the U-Haul, got the U-Haul, took it back to the hotel, unloaded all of our stuff at the hotel, took it over to the apartment complex.
So you're renting an apartment in Baton Rouge because you're going to be there that long?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we moved into the apartment in Baton Rouge, and it was just the two of us unloading this truck. We were waiting on furniture and things like that to come later that day. So we were supposed to have drinks.
Are you moving stuff from Knoxville down there?
Yeah, some things from Knoxville, like at least my clothes and,
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I have 2 wardrobes now. This is the Knoxville wardrobe.
Well, the Baton Rouge wardrobe can be a little airier and a little more...
because it's really hot and humid there.
Humidity-based, yes.
Exactly.
Yes, I see.
Yeah.
Like the summer clothes can mainly stay down there.
Right, exactly. So, and all my shoes. Like, I've discovered I have way more shoes than I need.
You are you've got a thing with shoes. I was thinking this the other night, and I know people who are obsessed with feet. I happen not to be.
That's good, because that's weird.
It is weird.
But
I joked with you about the time we interviewed on TV, on PBS, how they framed the shot in such a fashion that your foot little action was in the shot. And I thought, well, that seems like too wide of a shot.
Right. Yeah, please don't do that again.
Maybe a little distracting to see this fancy pump. Well, we had a meeting, a Marble City Opera board meeting the other night, and I'm looking. There's the foot. Don't look at the foot.
Was it doing it again?
Don't look at the foot. Actually,
I was wearing nice shoes that night.
Yeah. Again, I wasn't.
They were cute.
They were they?
Yeah,
they were.
All right. They're cute shoes.
Okay, I believe you. I'm trying to remember. It's like when your wife says, "Hey, did you notice what I was wearing last night?" And you're like, "Yes, of course I noticed. You were dressed.
You looked fabulous."
Yeah.
That is always the answer.
This happened to me when we got home from the screening of the Tosca screening.
Okay.
And my wife says to me, "Do you remember what I tried on earlier?" I said, what you're wearing? Yeah. She said, I said, not what I'm wearing. The other outfit that I tried on and didn't wear. And I'm like, oh no. She's like, because the question is, she said, I'm thinking of wearing that to work tomorrow. Because did it look okay? I'm like,
Yes.
and then I thought about it, but I came up with it. I pulled it out.
Okay.
I said, oh, you mean the one with kind of the claw stripes.
Nice.
That's black and white.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, that one. I said, yes.
Perfect. Good for you.
And I was very happy.
you.
So that's kind of the thing where here you're asking me, what shoes was I wearing on Monday night? I'm like,
You have no idea.
Let me think about it.
But my foot was dancing, and you're going to tell me it was it's a tell?
I think if you play poker, you be careful because considering what was happening in the meeting, where sometimes people are talking, about stuff they don't know about, and that's when the foot's going.
I wonder what that means when I was in the interview with you.
Well, you got to trace it back to our personal history, because at that point, you were doing me a favor. I needed to. Let me back up to this. I've talked about this up close show many times, but it also has to do with your husband, because I remember you telling me or him telling me that he thought I was a good interviewer.
You are.
And I had that in my head when they asked me if I could do this show. Hey, can you do a half-hour interview show on television? And it's a little scary to think about it, but I had this confidence of your husband James telling me, you're a good interviewer. So I'm like, I had that, and I thought, well, James thinks I'm a good interviewer.
So I must be.
So, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. So it helped me, give me a little extra boost of confidence to take it. I probably would have taken it no matter what because I'm a camera hog, but helped me go for it. But then I'm desperate for guests.
Sure.
It's a rush job. They're like, you've got 5 days to find your first guest, get someone you're comfortable with and whom you've interviewed before, and I picked you.
And it was kind of a test also. It was kind of like a camera test in some ways.
Yeah.
Like to see, is this going to work? So you definitely want to work with people that you feel comfortable with.
If it had gone south, they would have replaced me the next week with some other host.
Right.
So anyway, that whole situation is you and I hadn't done the podcast together. We hadn't done the Tosca bit together. We hadn't done any of the things together.
Except some radio interviews that you forgot about. Yep.
They're in my Facebook memories, so they must be there.
And I've listened to them. They're
I've
really
listened
good.
to it too. I found it. It was good.
I'll never let you forget.
I did a lot of radio interviews. Well, I remember that I'd interviewed you a lot. So anyway, but you think about it, that situation, here you are, first guest of the semester, student crew, everything's a little odd.
Yeah.
And we're in these uncomfortable high chairs.
Those were really silly.
Which they've since replaced.
Okay, good.
For the next season, we're down lower and we've got a table so I can hide behind it like this.
Oh, that's much better.
They told me that my hands are the table's too small because even if I go like this, my hands are still in this shot of the other person. So I have to
So you're like, hi, welcome.
So I got to work on that.
Love it. Yeah.
Well, the point though is that now that has changed. So that was the tell back then. Now, if you skip ahead to a year and a half later, I consider you one of my closest friends. I don't have very many close friends, and certainly, we've hung out together more in the past year, and just long conversations in the car, and I've told you things that probably really weren't that interesting and were none of your business.
Well, I hope to tell you all things that aren't interesting and none of your business. So. It's the purpose of our phone calls in the car.
But you know what I mean.
I do, yeah.
Like in a situation that happened in the recent past, you were aggravated or upset about something, and you looked at me, and I'm like, she needs a hug.
I know, and we have this no hugging rule.
Well,
but you were there for me when I needed a hug.
Well, it's not an unpleasant experience, I'd like to point out. I'll hug you every day if you want.
I don't smell. So.
No. I was trying to be professional. If we're doing a show together, working together, I'm actually. It's not that I don't want to hug. It's like I'm thinking, well.
Yeah, we're professional in this situation.
It's got to be judicious. It's not just, you don't have to be loose with your hugs.
Right, exactly.
But that situation was not being loose with the hug. It was a needed moment. A needed hug.
Yeah. No, I really appreciated you that day.
I was
explaining to people. Yeah, Uncle Frank was explaining things to people that needed to be explained to.
And it's not mansplaining, because I was
No.
or unless I was mansplaining to a man.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
dude, what don't you understand about women? What don't you understand about not just women, but about human interaction and dynamics? Yeah. What are you missing from this
situation?
This discussion, this business discussion that just was getting personal, and it shouldn't have gotten personal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I really appreciated you. As soon as I felt understood, I was like, oh, I feel better now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It was good. Sometimes you just need someone, because I felt like in that situation that people were kind of saying to me, oh, why are you upset? There's no reason to be.
No, it was clear.
And for you to say, like, no, there's a clear reason.
Yeah.
It just automatically, I was like, thank you. I feel better.
Yeah, and a clear reason for you to be upset professionally.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like they just told you, your
hair looks goofy.
Yeah, no, it was So without getting into the details of it, it felt right to explain. By the way, I looked it up. Louisiane iced tea. It's spelled with a Z, so it's not the same.
Terrible.
Did they get a lot of dead people down in Baton Rouge?
A lot of dead people?
I don't know, because I feel like Dr. Bass would have a fun time.
He would have a fun time
examining the dead. And like, for example, he does in Knoxville. They're starting to open up body farms in other parts of the world.
That's cool.
And you can learn more about that when you go to Bonezonescom. Don't forget the S, and order maybe like Death's Acre, which is the original nonfiction book about Dr. Bass and the start of the body farm. There's also Beyond the Body Farm, and when you get them, you order them. They'll be autographed. Like here, see, this is Dr. Bill Bass on it.
Bass on the back too.
Yeah, and when you have it, and what he'll do, so he signed this stack of books. But then, if you want it personalized, he goes in and he signs your name, to so and so. So you can get it either way, with or without the personalization.
That's great.
And I think I've showed you. Did I show you the skulls, the souvenir skulls already?
Ooh, no.
Because those are in these boxes. One is silver and one is gold. And
don't they have also just like a
resin skull that looks real?
Look, that's the one I want.
So these are like just paperweights, but they're fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he signs across the supraorbital ridge, assuming it's a male skull. See, silver and gold, silver and gold. But they're nice and heavy.
They are nice and heavy.
Yeah. So those are fun little souvenirs you can get from bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. When you contact them, you actually order personally. You can call and talk to Susan, and she'll make sure you get your order just right, or do it via email, and then they'll arrange a pickup or a shipment to you. They generally ship out to wherever you are, but you're dealing with them directly. It's not, sure, you could do it all. There's other ways to do it in this day and age, but they still use the personal touch because they want to make sure that everything is signed just the right way. The whole key is the autographed merchandise, and I think. I haven't been told what day the tickets are going on sale for Dr. Bass's birthday bash on Monday, August 29th, but those will be sold through Cherokee Caverns. So I found out if you type in like Cherokee Caverns website, it'll either go to historiccherokeecaverns.com, I think is the official one, but there's multiple ways to get there. So you can just Google that, or I'll certainly put the link in the comments for today's episode. And Bone Zones has all that link all the time, but they sell the tickets through Cherokee Caverns. They'll sell out probably in 3 days, 100 tickets. I mean, they might sell it in one day,
Yeah.
But usually takes based on past experience, it takes about 3 to 4 days to sell the thing out.
Do you know when the tickets are going live?
That's what I don't know, because they usually wait until like 2 weeks before.
Okay.
So that would be 29, the 15th, Monday the 15th. So
that makes sense.
Actually, you know what? I should check and see what day this episode is going to post.
Well, keep an eye out for those tickets.
This episode's posting on the 11th.
Perfect.
So we are right there.
We're right there.
Happy birthday, my sister. If today's August 11th, then it's my sister's birthday. So
Kathryn or the other one?
Alicia.
Okay.
Yeah, Kathryn's birthday's in July.
All right. Sorry.
All right. Anyway, bonezones.com. Don't forget the S.
Before you take this away, is this where he's signed it here? Is this where the frontal lobe would be?
Well, the frontal lobe is in the brain. Yeah, it's under here.
Under here.
So each of these plates has a name. I mean, I should know them all off the top of my head. When I know skulls, I think about what's called the supraorbital ridge, which means the ridge a man's skull has right above the eyes that a woman's skull doesn't.
Right.
So that when you are out a criminologist and you see a dead skull, you pick it up and you look at it, and there's two things you immediately look for: is the front here and the bump on the back.
And that's how you know.
And that tells you that you're looking for someone who was born male, and that's an important clue.
Sure. That's great.
It helps you find people, right?
That's great.
So, and the hips, the other second, you look say hips second.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking because I was looking up information on people who have déjà vu too frequently.
Oh yeah.
And apparently, it can be a sign of an issue in the frontal lobe.
What's with you and the déjà vu?
I keep having these situations, and James told me the other day after I told him again of a situation, he was like, "You keep having déjà vu. You might need to go get that checked out."
So what's with you and the déjà vu?
I feel like we've had this conversation.
That's one of my favorite Monty Python sketches, the déjà vu sketch.
Yeah.
You ever seen that one?
I don't
It's
remember.
like sketch is going along, and then just out of random, it cuts to John Cleese sitting at a desk saying, "Déjà vu, that strange feeling you've experienced all of this before." And then it cuts back to like a slightly different version of the same previous sketch, and then John Cleese comes in. We're talking about déjà vu, that strange feeling.
I love it.
And it happens like throughout the whole episode, just constantly
my
these
goodness.
déjà vu jokes. I love it.
I love it.
So but you really think you've got it?
I've had it several times. So at the at the Thursday night performance of Carmen, we had 3 performances.
This is in Myrtle Beach, kind of?
In Myrtle Beach.
All right.
Yeah, it was Myrtle Beach High School where the performance was.
Isn't that a sad thing about theaters? That's the best theater in town.
It's the high school,
For
yeah.
a professional company to rent is often the high school theater.
Yeah, I actually heard that the Knoxville Catholic High School here has a beautiful...
Oh, I've been.
Have you?
Yeah, of course I've
With
been.
like a beautiful pit.
Come on, Kathryn, please stop. Of course I've been.
Of course.
It's the
well,
same.
what am I asking? You've been everywhere.
No, I mean, no, it's Catholic. That's the hint right there.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a... I don't know if it's too soon to spill the beans, but we're hoping that Catholic High's theater department and their acting troupe at the St. Gregory the Great Auditorium will be involved in the Secret City Improv Fest.
Nice.
And the guy who runs the Secret City Improv Fest is asking me. I helped him get in touch with Catholics, just Majors Rankin.
Okay. Yes.
Who runs the theater program? So they're working that out, and I may even stop
Do you
by.
have her email? Because I need that.
Okay. Yes, I do. I may even drop by and help coach that team to get ready for the Secret City Improv Fest, September 30th and October 1st at the historic Grove Theater in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And when you buy your Secret City Improv Festival tickets, use the promo code FRANK to get a discount.
That's FRANK.
I think I'll put the link in the description because I don't know it off the top of my head, the ticket, whatever e-tix he's using. But yeah, you can get, I think, 20% off with my name.
Nice.
Hello.
Nice.
So you need a theater. You were in Myrtle Beach. You got déjà vu. Look at me. I'm keeping up.
Yeah, thank you.
Myrtle Beach High School, and all of a sudden you've got this strange feeling that you've done all this before.
Yes. So it's at the end of the performance. I've been backstage. Or maybe I was during the middle. I can't remember. But I walked out backstage, and there were some violinists there who I knew. Who
Aha!
from
First sign of
Knoxville.
déjà vu.
And that wasn't it though. So I was like, hey, hi, how are y'all? And I turned the corner.
The violinist you knew? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not new from...
I knew from Knoxville.
Oh, and they're also working in Myrtle Beach on this production.
Yeah, there are a bunch of Knoxville people there, which was really fun.
That helps get déjà vu right there.
Possibly,
all right.
Yeah. So then I turned the corner, and one of the Micaelas who had performed that night, she's like, Kathryn.
Slow down and explain that. That's a character, not Carmen, but the other...
The sweet girl who's trying to get Jose to come back and be with his mom.
So and because it was learning, you're teaching this to some students, mixing them with professionals.
Right.
You double cast the roles like
Triple
you do.
cast.
Oh, so one of the Micaelas means there's 3.
There was 3. This is on the second night.
All right.
And we've never worked together before or anything like that. So she calls my name, I turn around, and when I turned around, like the way the high school hallway was and where the violinists were, and even this Micaela who I've never worked with before, and who has not sung the role up until this night, right?
Oh.
I had this huge sense of déjà vu coming over, and I literally reached out for her and said, have we been here before? Have we had this conversation? Did we do this already?
Dun, dun, dun.
And she's like looking at me like I'm crazy. And
Well, you are.
yeah, I mean, I was like, maybe I dreamed it. Maybe I had this in a dream. And that's something also that I've been repeating when I've been having these déjà vu
Is the
moments,
dreams?
Is that like maybe I dreamt this. So it also happened when I went right after the Copper Queen to Florida to visit my brothers. I think we talked about that at one point. And I walked, that was the first day we arrived. My younger brother and his wife and daughter were already on the beach. And so James dropped me off to go find them.
Yeah.
So I walked down to the beach, and Noelle's coming out of the ocean, and she turns around and she's like, Aunt Kathryn. And then my sister-in-law Mary turns around from her chair and is like, hey, Kathryn. And I said, oh my gosh, have we been here before? Have we done this?
Oh.
I think I dreamed this exact moment. And we've never met on the beach ever.
So clearly the answer is no, we haven't done this before.
We haven't done this before, but it was such a strong sensation that I actually felt as if it had really, really happened, or I had dreamed it, because it was that strong.
I've looked up, Googled deja vu in the past, you know? So I don't know, I don't remember the specifics of why deja vu occurs, but I do remember one theory, and this is old theories, this has been around for a while. Have you heard this one?
No.
Is that in the course of your day, your brain is so busy, for whatever reason, you actually black out for a moment.
Right, like a little epileptic seizure.
To the point where your brain just resets.
Yeah.
It's kind of like analogous to, the power in your house flashes, but comes right back on. Right. Enough to make the microwave clock need to be reset, but not enough to screw up everything else.
Right, exactly.
All right?
Yeah.
So, and you're like, oh, what well, the feeling is that you're in this scenario, you have this reset button, some kind of a reboot, whatever happens in your brain, you get the iOS update, something happens,
right.
And then when you come back to it, your current memory, your current experience doesn't connect to the short-term memory from 5 minutes ago. Your brain is tricked into thinking it's a longer-term stored memory from much longer ago, and you think, I've been here before, I've done this before. Even if it was just 5 seconds earlier, your brain thinks that there's more time because of that reset. Now, I'm talking out my rear on this because that was an article I read a long time ago, but it made sense to me, so I stopped researching it.
Yeah, no, it kind of makes sense. I've researched it a little bit, and they still talk about that same kind of thing happening, but now they call them little seizures. So I don't know. Maybe I should get it checked out. It also says that it's common for people before 25
then
to
you have to worry
have
about
these. It. Exactly. So I'm way out of the hilarious. But that if they do ramp up as you get older, that it's maybe a problem. So I think it's completely fine. I think it's fun. Yeah. So what does that tell you?
Maybe there needs to be a deja vu opera.
Yeah.
It's got 3 acts, and they're all called Act 1.
And it's just the same show
except
each
slightly
time.
Different each time.
I love that.
Just enough to make you go,
just
wait a minute.
Change like a slight bit of the costume, or something.
Or swap out, have 3 Michaelas and 1 in each act and don't tell anybody.
Yes. And they all have the same wig on. Yes.
Deja vu. The opera.
Done.
I like talking about bold stuff. It just amuses me. Everything can be an opera,
Everything can be.
Yeah.
Everything is.
Well, fantastic. Let's break here and have you come back and do another show because
sounds good.
This I probably have to go pick some figs.
No, I can't wait to hear more about the figs.
We did a whole episode about the figs with Abby the other day, and it was good. I'm just saying that I've got a little bit of fig-exhaustion.
Yeah.
Which is my own fault. My wife was trying to tell me, we went to your movie screening, or our movie screening, because my wife and I are in it also, of Tosca, and I didn't pick figs because I ran out of time. I thought the movie was going to start like at a normal time, like 7:30, and my wife says, it starts at 6. I'm like,
That's what I wanted the effect to be for everybody before.
So I had to shower and get dressed and get changed. I'm like, I didn't pick the figs yet. I've been doing every other thing. I've been cleaning the pool. I've been doing the radio show. Okay. So I missed a fig day, and it makes me anxious.
Anxious, yeah.
Because it means that there's just exploding figs on the tree and birds, and Anyway, so I'll go pick figs, and you'll come back for another show for the Tuesday episode. And
Sounds
I appreciate
good.
you.
Awesome.
All right.
Great to be here.
Don't forget to go to audibletrial.com/FrankandFriendsShow so that you can experience all the joys of a Premier membership in Audible for 1 month for free and see how you like it. Premier members, do get a free download or included in the membership, an MP3 download every month, a credit for one. You can bank them and get the larger items that require multiple. It's like tickets at the circus or at the fair, Some rides are 3 tickets, some rides are 1. Well, you can bank your MP3 credits and save them, or spend them one at a month, whatever you're going to do. But certainly during that free month, you get one, and I say spend it right away.
So you can keep it forever.
Keep that MP3 forever, or go on with the streaming, like so many of our recent guests have been doing. Jeff Detro loves Audible talking about it. Avi McCullough is all into it because of that found time.
Right.
Of being able, and Jeff had the best idea. He said he went back and listened to a classic of young adult literature, The Yearling.
Okay.
That book you'd read, actually, as you and your husband were having a discussion with my wife and me the other night about how those old literature classics are not really known anymore.
Right,
but
of course.
For someone, like he's retired, so someone his age, he's like, yeah, I remember The Yearling. Everyone read The Yearling when I was in 8th grade. He listened to the audiobook version of it. He said
so fun.
He felt like he was being warmly tucked in at night.
That's great.
To find a classic book from his youth.
Yeah.
And it brought back great memories as a way to, split up. And Abby says she's got like 7, 8, 9 books open at one time. Depending on her mood, she switches back and forth.
That's nice. So, I imagine that, my mother used to read to me when I was young and to fall asleep. So to listen to an old classic, that would be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, fantastic. So audibletrial.com/FrankandFriendsShow. And when you head over to our website, we've got our merchandise, we've got our cups. I've been trying to make new things, but I've been struggling with the design on the website. It's just, so I'm trying to make a wraparound t-shirt, and they've got some new items that I'm trying to activate. I don't want to spoil it yet because I've been unsuccessful. It's my fault. But
stay tuned because they're going to be there.
Yeah, but I think they're cool things, and I need to get them on there. So the drinkware, of course, the luxurious beach towel that everyone loves.
Cell phone cases.
Have you got yours? Out of reach?
I do. It's out of reach.
All right. Well, that's
it's
nice.
Fabulous.
Because you're so busy nowadays, it was nice of you to leave it out of reach.
Yeah. Then no one can contact me right now.
I'm curious. I'm curious how many angry emails she's received
in this amount of time.
During the past 37 minutes.
Probably a lot. So it's time for figs, and it's time for angry emails.
All right. It is the Frank and Friends Show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
And we'll talk to you again next time.